What's up? I want to make a video of why dairy may cause problems in some people as of mucus and allergic reactions and just side effects. You want to call them negative, whatever. Why it happens in some people and not some other ones. And there's just a couple reasons behind this. It's pretty simple. And the first one I would start out with, if it causes you mucus, you gotta evaluate, because this is one of the bigger ones. If it's causing mucus, what? Now, I can't say if that's a bad thing or good thing, because that could only be temporarily. What you need to focus on is how it makes you feel, and that's it. That's like strict rule number one, is how it makes you feel. And I'm talking about cheese, eggs, and milk, cream, all the stuff. How does it make you feel when you consume it? And why I'm saying this is because I, at one point, was getting like a little bit of mucus and stuff, maybe even a lot. Like, it seemed like when I would eat an egg, it would just be like all mucus, like it just straight directly transmuted to mucus. But that was at a certain time, and it only lasted for so long. Now it doesn't even do that. So it all depends on where you're at, and the reason being is probably because your system is not up to par. But like I said, that's not necessarily a bad thing if it's actually causing mucus. It all depends on how it makes you feel. Because a couple weeks ago, for me, it was doing mucus, give me mucus, and I decided to stop it. Because not because of the mucus necessarily, just because I actually wasn't feeling them. I wasn't craving them, which I don't necessarily like that word, but I just didn't have wanted to consume them, basically. Now I actually want to consume them again, and bam, I'm not getting any mucus. So that's one thing. Two would be, is it raw? I eat everything raw, but especially dairy products, when they're not in the raw form, they're going to be completely, especially if they're pasteurized, it's going to be completely harder to digest other than its raw state. They don't even compare between raw and pasteurization. When they're raw, they consume themselves. When you cook them, then your body has to assimilate them more. So, is it pasteurized? Are you cooking it? Are you heating it? Third factor to be aware of is, where are you getting the source from? What is the diet of whatever you're eating? Are the eggs or the chickens being foraged, and are they eating their natural diet, which their diet is primarily insects? They should be pasture raised. They don't really eat grains. I mean, any animal, we eat anything you give it, but to be in optimal health and realistically, it has to follow its natural diet. But again, animals will eat anything, at any time, because that's just their instincts, is to eat something. That's why a lot of people have a crappy diet, but also because they're not aware. And time, they usually don't have time. We're not getting into that, but chickens forage, and a lot of mislabeling happens, such as like vegetarian diet. Chickens aren't vegetarian at all. They eat mainly insects, and they're pretty much a wild animal, so they need space and room. So not only their diet, but how they are raised. Are they raised with love and with care? Are they kicked around and abused and has a lot of stress in their life, hence being in a cage? And do they have optimal growth? And this just goes with any dairy product, but anything you consume, really. And I get just how a chicken was treated. You know, if you show a child love, humans are animals, but if you show a child love all its life, most likely it's going to be a loving child and develop healthy. If you kick and abuse a child all its life, it's going to be evil and, you know, pessimistic or negative and aggressive and destruction. Not even saying those things are necessarily bad, but you know, you might come up with a Hitler. You might come someone who's manipulative, controlling, or is sexually abusive to people, or mentally a murderer, a rapist, the whole 9 yards. So the treatment comes with the animals. Is it raised with love? And you might not understand this, but I have some raw milk that I drink, and when I drink it, I feel the love that was transmuted right into the milk. You know, the cows are happy. I could tell the cow is happy when I drink it. I've never even seen the cow, but the milk was raw, and it was raised well. So that would be number 3. I think that's what we're on. It was raised humanely. What was the diet? And was it treated with love? Environment, all those. Just know your source is what I was saying. A lot of people have allergic reactions and things, like I was saying, mucus, negative side effects necessarily. I said how it makes you feel, which is tied at number 1. But yeah, you got to pay attention to those effects and how does it really make you feel. And maybe take some time off it if you don't feel like it's treating you, and make sure you actually want it. And again, I was going to talk about the pasteurization, but already did that. But just notice those side effects, basically. If there's anything else, maybe a lot of pimples or allergic reaction. And I was going to tie this in too, because what you need to understand, which is something maybe a way bigger topic that I guess worth mentioning now, is they genetically modified a lot of animals to some extent, and they don't treat them well, and again, they don't give them the right diet. So some animals are completely caged up and just not even in their natural habitat anyway. They pretty much genetically modified a whole cow and made a Frankenstein cow. So that cow is considered commercialized, or A1 type of cow. And what this means is this cow was pretty much made in a laboratory and the genes were messed with. It's how they did it. And it's not a real cow, so some people can't have adverse reactions to this. And usually people, when they put this, they usually can easily find out if it's A2, because that's what you want. Indigenous cows, that's what you want, which is a natural breed. If I even got to say something like that. It's just naturally how it is, and that's just natural. I mean, a lot of people, like And it's usually in like first world countries that they make these fake cows. Usually they're Frankenstein cows, and they're usually black and white. That's not really a real cow, so you could have adverse effects to this because it was modified. But how to know you're going to get a good source, it's A2 is the best one, because that means it is indigenous. I don't know the exact name of the cows. They're just indigenous cows. They're not conventional or commercial, and their colors are usually like an all one coat, usually like black, brown, just the all one color coat. And they're usually in places that, I don't know, they just do responsible work. That's why sometimes you have to go check, or just check the source. Usually they'll have a pamphlet, or you can ask somebody about it, because they usually know where the milk's coming from. But I don't want to say organic, but that's a step up, I guess. But A2 is something to look at. And then of course you want it to be raw. When it comes to just dairy products in general, yeah, and that's pretty much it when it comes to knowing the source. But that could make a difference. It really could, because that's a reputable source, and that is a real, again, indigenous cow. I know some of them are called like Jersey cows is one of them, and they're like usually all one color. And I know, like, and I haven't been to certain places, but I'm pretty well aware that they don't have the fake cows in a lot of other countries. And they're not natural, how the whole cycle and how much milk they may produce. It's everything. So, and that kind of ties into another thing, which isn't kind of a topic for this video, but the accessibility, which could be really hard for some people to find a location or go to a location, if it's illegal or legal. And yeah, like where I stay, which is a bunch of BS, some stores, I imagine they need a clarification. They could sell raw milk, but they don't, and they could sell some raw cheese, which has to be aged 60 days. Doesn't even matter. I mean, I guess it is a plus to some extent, but it's illegal to sell in stores, because at farms it's different. But most people are brainwashed and unaware of this anyway. Raw cheese under 60 days, which would be cottage cheese and just stuff like that, or whey. And then you have butter, cream, these things, and just all the milk products basically. They're illegal to sell in the store, which doesn't make sense, because raw milk's legal, and raw milk makes everything, and it has cream in it, but it makes all the dairy products anyway. So it's stupid that stuff would be even illegal. Yeah, so I would definitely check into all that. And then I guess a side note, or number 6, would be, people say like, oh, maybe try goat's milk, buffalo, camel, lamb, which I guess would be goat. Oh, no, I guess not. But when we're talking to like milk products, or just milk, if you don't know if it's reputable source when it comes to A1, then you might want to, I mean, it doesn't really matter, because to me, milk is milk. And people say, oh, this milk you might not have an allergic reaction to. If it's a fake cow, because all those other animals that have milk will be real, and because those aren't genetically modified pretty much, and those would be real. At least not to my understanding, they're not genetically modified or fake. So they're real. The only problem you would have, people say, oh, I'm allergic. I'm not allergic to cow milk, but I'm allergic to goat milk, or vice versa, which is stupid, because all milk is milk at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. You're not going to get more inflammatory action from a goat's milk than you would any other milk. It doesn't make sense. Milk either works or it doesn't. Maybe a few people, but it'd be more so the fake cow, just that fake cow. So it doesn't really matter, because milk is milk at the end of the day. But if it came from a fake cow and one that was genetically modified or raised inhumanely, that might set off something. But usually if it's any other animal than a cow, you're guaranteed it's gonna have like they feed most of those animals, for the most part, an average diet to a good diet, and they also, it's, you know, they're usually raised well. That being said, all animals, ruminants, they all eat, I'm pretty sure they're all herbivores, so they all eat grass and pretty much should be pasture raised. So look into that. Thanks for tuning in. So just be aware, mucus, maybe you need to take a break, or maybe it's a good thing. It could be helping you. Just depends on how you feel. You know, if you eat something and you're happy when you eat it, as long as it's not garbage, processed food, and you know, if you feel good and happy about it, then there's something in it. You know, if your body's telling you something, then you should listen to it. And it's pretty much as simple as that. So don't believe people's ideologies and this makes me sick. There's no way camel milk makes someone sick and freaking lambs doesn't. Or goats. And the cheapest milk most of the time is going to be cow's milk, because it's a lot more cows. I guess easier to access in most parts. But thanks for tuning in. Subscribe. Any questions, leave me below. Tell me about your experience. Thanks for tuning in. Give me a like. Check out some other videos. If you got any ideas, let me know. See ya.